to Patrick Mahomes' recovery in a second, but first, Dolphins and Bills in Miami attempting the onside kick. Micah Hyde catches it and takes it to the house.
Miami was in this game.
Briefly.
Well, a little more than briefly. They were in this game longer than expected.
Yeah, they've been in all of them. They start the game, they're in the game. And then, gentlemen, you know what the end result happens to be?
Yeah. Hey, man, check it out on your schedule. Week 16, Dolphins, Bengals, maybe a fight for the #1 pick of the draft.
Is it in Cincinnati?
I got to look.
Vikings, Lions.
Nope, Miami.
Adam Thielen completes the 25-yard touchdown with a nice toe drag. He'd have to leave the game with a hamstring injury, but this was a nice touchdown.
Oh, yeah, trying to get that back leg in. He strained his right groin, Nick. That's why he was out of the game the rest of the time. Unbelievable catch. Great throw by Kirk Cousins, trusting him in the back of the end zone. Little toe drag swag.
Cowboys and Eagles, Amari Cooper from Dak. Nice little stretched out catch there.
Man, Amari was just whooping Jalen Mills the whole night. Jalen Mills got the 1 pick in the end zone. Other than that, though, that was a bad matchup for him. I think 5 targets, 5 catches.
Yeah, not only Amari Cooper, but any group that faces the Eagles, is who wants to have a career day. They're like a gift from Santa Claus at Christmas, that secondary.
Come on.
Finally, Colts in Texas. Eric Ebron making a spectacular one-handed grab for the touchdown.
All right, this is an amazing, amazing catch, but I got beef with Adam Vinatieri.
Go ahead.
After the game, he told Ebron, that's probably one of the 25 best catches I've seen. Now, I know Vinatieri's
I give him
years old.
Yeah.
But you got to give him better than one of the top 25.
He could have dropped it down to 15.
Yeah, I mean, just
I've seen a lot of football, son.
I get it. I understand. Vinatieri.
That'd have been like, hey, Nick, you know something? That take right there, it's in the top 100 takes I've heard since I've been doing TV since you was a baby.
Vinatieri's been playing football like 7 years longer than you've been in television.
That's
unbelievable.
Cool. That's pretty cool.
Unbelievable.
Don't mention me with him, though, because he's not doing so good. He run out of gas.
Let's talk Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I'd like to say I'm still on the rise.
Dislocated kneecap on Thursday Night Football sent shockwaves throughout the NFL. But some good news for the Kansas City faithful, one of whom resides right next to me for 3 hours every morning. MRI results revealed what is being reported as a best-case scenario for the reigning MVP. And Mahomes says he's feeling good, and he's hoping to return ahead of his 3-week timetable. Nick, how cautious should the Chiefs be with Mahomes' recovery?
Incredibly cautious. And before I say why, I just want to give credit to people we almost never talk about. That Chiefs medical staff, for getting to him the way they did, relocating it on the field, him not moving, because that is what they say prevented potential ligament damage.
Yeah, immediately been able to put the kneecap back in the socket. There is a procedure that they do. You could see Patty, it's excruciating initially, but then you do get some relief, as you can see once he stood up and once he began to walk.
I was at Texans training camp, J.J. Watt year 2, when he dislocated his elbow on the field. And the training staff there did the exact same thing for the elbow they did to Patrick Mahomes' kneecap, relocated it and reduced it is what it's called medically, I guess. And it prevented any ligament damage. He didn't miss any games, went on to wear a brace and had won his first Defensive Player of the Year. So this could have been way, way worse. But the Chiefs should not take that gift and be foolish with it. They have 4 games and then a bye. Patrick Mahomes should not see the field before the bye week. If you rush him back, so what?
What are the 4 games?
Home for Green Bay, brutal. Home for Minnesota, real tough, because I feel like Dalvin Cook's going to have 235 yards rushing. At Tennessee, winnable. At the Chargers, not even at the Chargers, Mexico City for the Chargers, and then a bye week. So the Chiefs, the Raiders lost yesterday. The Texans lost yesterday. The Chiefs had a good day yesterday as far as standings watching, aside from Baltimore getting that win in Seattle. This guy is the franchise. He is the reason Chiefs fans such as myself have real hope, legitimate hope for the first time since Joe Montana was there. You cannot rush him back at hopes of improving your seeding. Now, obviously, you don't shelve them for the year. You don't do something like that. You don't have to anymore. But if the timetable's 3 weeks, if you have a bye in 4.5 weeks, I would hold him out until the bye, unless doctors come and say there's absolutely no chance of re-injury, which I don't think they would say.
Oh, that's great, Nick. And the fans and everything are great, and your fandom is even great. But every player I know gets rushed back on the field. And if it's not only by the medical staff, even if they're trying to be precautionary, you are dealing with one of the best athletes, one of the most driven, one of the most focused, and they're getting medical attention around the clock. So if this is a normal 3 to 6 week injury, an elite athlete feels like, hey, I'm going to be one of the faster ones that turns around, and he's going to feel more comfortable sooner than people think. So it's nice. It's nice to have that plan. We're going to be conservative. Saquon Barkley, we talked about high ankle sprain a couple weeks ago. He was thinking about coming back for the Patriots game. I was like, I wouldn't come back for the Patriots game. We saw him yesterday against the Cardinals still get nicked up on that ankle. So it's just a matter of the athlete and the training staff coming to some type of an agreement that, yes, I know I can't do any further damage. Once they tell him that, Patty Mahomes is going to try to get out there. To me, what I'm more concerned about is it's on his back plant leg compared to his driving leg. If it wasn't his back plant leg, I'm worried about his fundamentals, because is he going to drop back and plant off that leg and drive into it and throw the ball down the field?
I feel like we know beyond a shadow of a doubt that he's not playing this week against Green Bay or next week against Minnesota. So then you've got at Tennessee, the Mexico game against the Chargers, and then a bye week. The reason I would be extra cautious is because he is not only dealing with a dislocated kneecap in one leg, he's still dealing with that ankle injury in the other leg that probably was going to need, if he was ever going to get it fully healthy, around a month off. That now, you didn't think he was ever going to get it all year, but if you have the ability after the bye, by holding him out for one extra game, he gets 2 extra weeks because of where the bye falls, to get him back fully healthy, both legs, ankle and knee, I think that's something you have to take into consideration, franchise quarterback or not, just because whether he's 24-year-old MVP or not, because of the Chiefs still can win the Super Bowl. They can only win the Super Bowl with a 100% Patrick Mahomes. So I think it's all about how do we get to a 100% Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be 100% all year, though, Nick. He dislocated his kneecap. An extra week is not going to make. He's going to have to play with some pain. He's going to have to play with a knee brace. He's going to have to play with some discomfort. This is not an injury that you're like, okay, you're getting ready to be pain-free and scot-free. No, he's not going to be healthy until the offseason. Now, his foot might start to feel a little bit better, but that kneecap, like we cannot expect him to feel 100% till the offseason.
Whenever he does come back, how does Andy Reid approach what he allows Patty Mahomes to do? If he's given the green light and the all clear to come back, and we know that the dislocated kneecap is not torn ligaments or whatnot, is he still going to be allowed to run around if he wants to, or do you want to see Andy Reid be a little more cautious with him?
Well, when you come back as an injured player, you develop a pact. Not only I talked about with the training staff, you develop a pact with the coaching staff. I don't expect the full offense, no, when he comes back. No, you have to call a game and understand to be smart. Well, maybe they might take the quarterback sneak out, too, while he's hurt this time. But, yes, as far as getting him on the run, you're going to do that. You're going to throw a lot more short passes, depending on the wide receivers, to get yards after the catch. Maybe Andy Reid, in his 30 years of coaching, maybe he'll come up with a freaking running game. That would help Jenna. But at the end of the day, people develop habits. Andy Reid develops habits. He's not going to run the ball 40 times, but he's got to be able to protect Patty Mahomes, and he's got to understand, I got to get the ball out of Patty Mahomes' hand to be able to protect him from himself.
I think getting the ball out quick would be, whenever he comes back, something they do much more of. Something, by the way, it looked like they were trying to do much more of against Denver because of his ankle, and he was on a short week. Should be noted, when we see Patrick Mahomes running around, those are almost never designed runs. Those are plays where Patrick Mahomes is running to escape a rush, running to get a better angle on a throw.
No, but Andy Reid calls a lot of 5- and 7-step drops that the quarterback is back there holding the ball, waiting for stuff to develop. That's Andy Reid.
And it's been even more so Andy Reid since Mahomes been in the lineup, because he has the arm, and you want to see if that track team they have at wide receiver can get downfield. So they absolutely, whenever he comes back, will be more conservative in that regard. I would be surprised if you see him before the bye. I would be shocked if you see him before that Charger game. I think you can cross him out for the next 3 weeks, Green Bay, Minnesota, and Tennessee.
I think it was up to him. He'd play yesterday.
Oh, well, yeah, they didn't have a game, but otherwise, agreed.
Coming up, I meant...
I knew what you meant, Jenna.
He'd play before he was even...
I knew what you meant.
They play Thursday. Coming up, Aaron Rodgers just proved he's still the best quarterback.
First Things First is sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve.
Welcome in to First Things First. I'm Sarah Kustok filling in for Jenna Wolf. That's the Hall of Famer, Cris Carter. That's Nick Wright. I would say happy Friday and ask how you guys are doing,
I'm gonna knock that out
I
your
think
hands.
we already know the answer.
Yeah.